And like my goal the next like 10 years is, can we be more peaceful, more healthy, more happy, more strong? Like that's my personal goal. And so then I'm going to try and write about this and like live the experience. And when you can do that, then you have a good energy to bring to people in the crowd, you know?
Oi, gente, tudo bem? Sejam muito bem-vindos a mais um Universo Alpha. Hoje a gente conversa um pouquinho com o cantor e compositor australiano Ziggy Alberts. Ziggy, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you as well. I think everyone made a really big effort on all sides. Some of us survived the party and some of us survived the airplane. And so I think we can congratulate both of us.
Yes, of course. And I wanted to start by asking, because the main reason we are talking here today is because you're on tour. You're traveling with the New Love tour, and you came here to Brazil to do a show here. And I wanted to ask you, you released the album and started a tour simultaneously. It was on a very similar period, right?
Same day.
The same day, right?
Which was crazy. I can't necessarily recommend, but we did the same day. But it was very exciting for us, for the fans. It was like an exciting way to do it. But we started the February 22nd, and since then I did like nearly 30 shows in Australia, and then I had a small break, and now the headline show tomorrow in Sao Paulo is show number 37 since show 37 in 50 something days. So yeah, a big schedule.
Because you were this week, we're talking today is 27. This week you were in Mexico as well. You were doing just insane traveling, just shows there, and then come to Brazil, and then you move back to Australia. So it's been insane.
It's in the like North American tour, and in the US and Canada, we have like our sleeper bus, which is like amazing because you have like your home on wheels. Even if it's like small, it's still, there's no airplane, there's no this, so you go to sleep, the driver takes you to the next city, and it's like, I pretend I'm working hard when I'm there, but it's like a holiday. But this last week of tour, we go Miami. We went from Miami in Florida for a show, and then to Mexico City for like 2 days, like this schedule, like 1 day press, 1 day show. And then we flew and we arrived just like 6 hours ago. So we're really testing our patience. Do you say Santa Paciencia?
Santa Paciência,
yeah.
Santa Paciência.
Yeah.
You know some little words in Portuguese because you even sang a song in Portuguese with Victor Clay, right?
Yeah. Não falo, but mas estou aprendendo. Bits and pieces.
But
Perquino.
it's understandable. We can understand it. The accent, it's very clean.
It's so in the first time I started in my street performing career, it was like in a place called Byron Bay, which is like the hippie capital of Australia. And in this time, there was like a huge Brazilian community. And so like my friends and just the people I was always playing music around, you know, in the very beginning, I got these messages and friends I made who then would return home. And so the show in Floripa 2 years ago and this show now is special, even more special, because particularly in Latin America, like I'm meeting some people who 10 years ago saw me on their honeymoon or something like this, you know, on the street when I was just little, and then we get to see each other again now. And so that's like, it's special. We're so lucky, you know, music connects us all, I think.
And it's been quite a journey. You said yourself that you started singing in the streets, and then your last album debuted on the ARIA charts, along with names such as Billie Eilish and Sabrina Carpenter. And I wanted to ask you, how does this recognition among such prominent names in the pop industry just make you feel? How did it feel at that time?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's such a, I think the big challenge is like to be present along the way, because since this moment where I was in the I got my charting between Billy and Sabrina like a sandwich. I got my little spot between. We've just been on the road like ever since, and then I finished the road and for Joy go straight to the Mentawai Islands in Indonesia, which is like amazing, and then go onto a boat and surf and just went crazy and surfed 7 hours a day and then straight to tour. So it's the recognition. I think I'm happy if it brings my music and if it makes the opportunity available that I can come to, let's say, to Brazil, because that's not an opportunity that everyone has from Australia. So I feel lucky if I have the opportunity from this recognition, and I think it helps. I think it helps for sure if you get put with those names. It's hard to understand when you're in the seat. You just do your best and wake up the next day and do it again.
And New Love, this new album, you blend indie, folk, pop with such a remarkable ease, and the lyrics explore like themes like love and friendship. And I wanted to ask you, how do you define this album's concept in specific, and how do you place it in your discography, and how do you see this new production?
Yeah, so this album is like the sequel for an album called Laps Around the Sun. In the time that I did Laps Around the Sun, I've done more albums since, but I did not get to work with the same producer. And so me and my friend got back together and we made New Love. It is really minimalist, but this is like the intention of the album, because the more you learn, the more you want to keep adding and adding and adding. But it was a really big focus that we just went with the best intention, and it was a really beautiful experience. I think the New Love album, the message is like, do your best, and when you fall, like get back up, keep going, and believe that things will be better again. And that's like the adventure that I also go on with this album myself. And so it feels very positive, and it's been really beautiful to see people in the crowd engaging with this message.
Because the idea of the album is to be a little bit lighter, let's say, just to dance, just to have fun listening to it. Was that the intention when you went into the studio to record?
Absolutely. We had, I think, in like we made like our goals for the album, and it was like respect the magic, like just really like don't force something, like, and if it's not working, go take a coffee or go for a swim, and it was just, we tried to do everything with that joy. And my personal dream is like, I turned 30, survived my 20s, which was really amazing. I feel happy for that. And like my goal the next like 10 years is, can we be more peaceful, more healthy, more happy, more strong? Like that's my personal goal. And so then I'm going to try and write about this and like live the experience. And when you can do that, then you have a good energy to bring to people in the crowd, as we said, like 34 shows, 50 days. So I'm really focused on just trying to be disciplined and be peaceful, and then I can give myself for the crowd. And that seems to be a good combination.
And you said to Rolling Stone Australia that this album is a refined home recording. Could you explain a little bit more about that? I know that you have this kind of independent side to your producing, to your to your albums in general. Could you explain a little bit more?
Please. Yeah, so 7 years ago, I was independent, and I had we say grassroots in Australia, but I had a very simple beginning, and it was very direct with the people. So because there was an opportunity for me, which is fine, but there was when you're like a street performer, there's not like some opportunity, there's no good marketing at this point. But I just had a really good connection directly with people. And even as I started my career, I would say, hey, I want to make a concert in this city. Can you help me? And people would help. And then this city. And then we go to Europe and we do this, and I'm playing in we say like community halls or in people's houses, backyards, like a crazy scene. I started the record label with my family, and what is nice for me to say with this world tour, where we're doing Brazil, Mexico, Japan, so many countries in Europe, I can't even name it. Australia, New Zealand, North America. It's great to tell the people that being independent just means that they made it happen. It wasn't an offer from a big company. It wasn't it's me and my team and the people in the crowd. Like that's the independent message for me, is that the people who attend the show tomorrow night should be proud, because they've made this request and they have made it happen, you know? And that's a very exciting thing. It's an exciting example to say, like, many people will say to you, no, like it's not possible, but I think if you can work with your community, for me, with the people who listen to my music, you can make a lot of things come true. And with the album being like a simple home recording, I think people my favorite recordings often is the one that someone makes on their phone, you know, like one that's very intimate and simple. So I wanted to try and make a good quality recording, but keep it really intimate. And so hopefully someone, if they listen to it, if they said, oh, this feels very simple, like I would be happy, because this was the goal. The longer I go in music, the harder it is to stay simple. And so that was our goal, to make a very simple recording.
And if you're talking about having fun and just a light disco in general, an album that's light energy, it has to be simple as well. It just matches the purpose of the album and the way you're producing and arranging and everything.
Yeah, in this time, it was really a beautiful time of life. I was recording living by this like river that on the high tide it's like crystal clear, and then there's like the beach, and in between I was surfing and like spending time with my family and my friends and riding my bike around. It was just like a really like beautiful personal time, which I'm happy to bring that energy. I have a belief that like these things that happen outside the studio, you bring into studio, good and bad. So yeah, it's been a crazy life so far.
And this is the second time you're coming to Brazil. We were talking about this because you did Florianópolis the last time, and now you're doing São Paulo. And you also have a partnership music with Vitor Clay, which is Rewind 2. Rewind is one of the most streamed songs of your career, right?
Well, yeah, it's crazy to think this song that like I can remember writing in the right corner of the couch in my little house, which no longer exists because it was always flooding into my house, so I had to start again. But I remember writing this song, and this I think gave me a really big opportunity in Latin America and in Brazil. And I couldn't believe it when we asked if we could make a collaboration with Vitor Clay. I couldn't believe he said yes. I thought it was a great honor because he's so amazingly popular here in Brazil, you know. But we had like some personal connection. We had a personal connection between us that introduced us, and I think we understood each other with our surf culture. But I felt it was a big honor to do the song with Vitor Clay. So, muito obrigado, Vitor, wherever you are.
Oh, so nice. And it has such a Brazilian sound. It's a little bit closer to bossa nova, I would say, listening to it. It was one of the intentions when you thought of the song.
Yeah, songs are really crazy because I don't have any classical training at all. So everything's just by ear. And so I just, it was an accident to find this melody and chord, but for me it was really exciting, and I love this sort of music. I mean, I love like bossa nova and I love reggaeton, and like I like this music, and it's very different from my folk music. But like I said, it's been like a very beautiful surprise, and I think it was the big opportunity I received to be here in 2023 and to be here now is because of this song and because of collaborations like I have with Vitor. It's a big passion. I think if you put 2 languages, one song, more peace is possible in the world. That's my belief, you know, and so that's like a big inspiration for me, and I want to keep doing that because I think it's one of the best ways to make for you to see me and me to see you.
And talking about this connection, personal connection with your audience, one of your most streamed tracks is Runaway, who has surpassed 100 million plays on Spotify, right? And I wanted to ask you, what do you think is the key to have such strong emotional connection with your audience?
That's a good question. I don't know if this is true, but this is saying it's crazy. When I first released that song, which is 10 years this year, apparently a fan told me years later that they found it because Taylor Swift once had it on her personal playlist, which I couldn't believe. So thanks, Taylor. If this is true, I can't see why the person would be lying to tell me this. It's very specific.
Yes.
And it makes sense in hindsight because this song, for some reason, was like launched into the world a bit more. Yeah. Wow. I think the best way to connect with people is you just try and wear your heart on your sleeve. And we all know as we grow older, it's harder to be vulnerable in general, in our relationships, in our work, in our music. But when I go with like an open heart to stage and see the people, it's a great joy for me. But see, I love people, you know, I love nature, but I also really am inspired by humanity and I have a big hope. And so when I look to the stage and I see people and they smile and they can see it, they're like, you can see me. It's like, I can see you. Of course, when 1,000 people are looking at you, of course you can feel shy, but you also can feel like happy and proud. And when you're making your songs, it's just like a beautiful emotion. And so I think if you go with this genuine experience, people will meet you genuine as well.
And this kind of this train of thought, do you think it comes with you growing as an artist and just having experiences in general? Because that's a very touching way to look at your work as well, because there's so many ways you can look at art in general, but you're talking specifically with connecting with people. Do you think that came with, you have a journey of 10 years in the music industry that comes with this kind of baggage, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's the longer you do it, I think you have when I started, you have your very clear vision, and then sometimes along the way you can get lost. And I think that the longer you do it, you have to see your deep reason why you're doing it. And I think sometimes now, I think the greatest reason is the one that's the most simple, and it's like, it makes people very happy, and it makes me happy. I think that without it, it would be, I think we see this a lot in the pop music culture. I think without it, it's also very lonely, because imagine you go to stage for 1 hour and then you go backstage, and I'm lucky I have like a good team, but still it can be very lonely, and it's like a big extreme. And so imagine, I have a big respect for like Billie Eilish, Sabrina Carpenter, people who are very successful because they are in the crowd, in the show, and then in by themselves in a hotel. And that's like, this is a lot to deal with mentally. And I can't imagine, in my experience, what I love like going out and taking a coffee and sitting on the cafe and watching everyone and meeting people. So, and these people can't do that. So it's a very interesting life, a little bit like Alien, you know? So I think that we must keep our human connection. And the people I play music to, really, I think are like the people I meet are always like the best people in the world. So.
It's so nice. And I wanted to ask you last, what are your plans for this second part of 2025 or 2026 if you're planning just to finish the tour and just give a little break to think for the next steps? What is on your mind?
So like we discussed before the interview, I will have way too short a trip here in Brazil, but that's also okay because I will go to Australia and spend time. I'm never home in July, August. Usually I'm in tour in like America or Europe, but I'm home, and so this is like a really good time to surf. Beautiful weather. So I will go home to Australia, just spend my time. I'm always busy though. I'm always like, because of running the record label with my family, so I'm busy at home, but this is good because like I'm a busy person. But I'll be surfing, working hard, and then I go to Japan. I make a whole European tour. I'm going to play the Royal Albert Hall in London for the first time, which is really cool. Like I've watched Ben Howard play there. You watch, Dua Lipa play there. And so I'm going to play the Royal Albert Hall for a headline. So that's going to be really cool. It's sold out already, so that's amazing. And then I will go back. My end shows the end of the year before I take a break. I will go back and do my first arena show in Australia, or first arena show in the world. But I'll do this one in Melbourne. So I'll do Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne. And after that, I will take a small break. And then I'll be bored in 2 weeks. And then I'll start again.
I think all artists in some way are just restless in that way. They want to rest. They're tired sometimes of touring, but then they're like, let's just go back.
It's always both. It's like you're always like ready. You already have a romance about, you're like, I'm going to disappear into my small town and not do anything. And then you have your other dream and you're like, I'm going to take over the world domination, like it's exactly these two things all the time. And generally it's like between the no coffee and your 3 coffees. And then you have your courage again,
That's that's kind of my day-to-day as well.
Maybe you feel this as well.
Because I need 3 coffees sometimes. Yeah. That's okay.
We all have our dreams of our small, intimate, disappearing from the world, and we have our dreams about being a star.
Yes. Ziggy, thank you so much for the talk. It's been a pleasure receiving you here at Alpha FM.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks so much.